Well, we're here at Walmart. We're making some birria tacos today. Birria! Taking a page out of Binging with Babish's book. We're gonna use a little bit of these just for the fat, because look at those, my lord. It's gonna be delicious. And then I've got me an inside round roast at home I think I'm gonna use. Now, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be using corn tortillas, but Mission makes these guys now. And while they're not keto per se, they will definitely work for my purposes. They're gonna be delicious. I'll be back with you guys as soon as I get to the kitchen. Side note, the reason I got lemons is because our limes here are just terrible, honestly. Hard and tiny with no juice.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. So now that we're back here in the kitchen, I've got my inside round broken down as well as our oxtails here in the pan, and I'm going to go ahead and get everything coated with a little avocado oil as well as a good coat of some kosher salt. Definitely make sure to get both sides. And then hit everything with a little fresh cracked black pepper. Now we'll get those guys under the broiler to roast off, and we'll break down some of these guys. Now normally the star pepper in this dish are guajillos, but around here we can only really get a hold of these guys. It seems to be a mix of a few different peppers, mostly hatched though. But hey, we'll make it work. Now for prepping these guys, you really don't have to do much. I prefer to use a pair of kitchen shears, but feel free to just rip the tops off. We just want to get some of those seeds out. Not really to prevent spice or anything, but the sauce is going to be pureed, and I feel like all those seeds wouldn't blend very well. On a side note, this is the brand we're using. They're honestly really good peppers. I just wish we had a bigger selection around here. Now I'm looking to use about a quarter of this bag. We want to use enough of these peppers to impart their delicious flavor as well as that signature color. And in my case, it seemed to be about 20 to 25. Now that I got a good amount of those broken down, I'm going to kick the spice up a bit with a few dried ghost chilies. I'm going to be finishing this whole thing in the Instapot, and cooking under pressure seems to tame spice down a bit, and I want to feel these tacos. I'm going to let that toast up on the stove for a bit while we break down some garlic, onion, and ginger. Now, like I said before, this sauce is eventually going to be pureed, so I'm going to go ahead and roughly dice these onions. Our garlic's going to soften up while it's simmering, so I'm just going to give these guys a smash and peel. As for the ginger, I'm just going to run the peel off with the back of a spoon and slice it down into some coins. Alright, let's check on our meat now. Things are looking absolutely beautiful. I'm just going to go ahead and give these guys a flip, get some color on the other side, but man, we got to check out these oxtails. That's definitely what you want to see. Again, shout out to Binging with Babish for giving me the idea to use these. They were definitely the play. Alright, moving back to our peppers. They're nicely toasted now and smell incredible. I'm going to add in all the veg we just prepped and let those guys hang out for just a second to get to know each other. After a minute or two, I'm going to toss in a whole can of these chipotle peppers. And again, let things hang out for just a second longer before I go in with a 28-ounce can of crushed tomato. I'll let things hang out one more time for a little bit longer before I finally add in about a half gallon of water. Now I'm going to let things come up to temp for a minute, and before I put the lid on, I'm going to add in a few dried spices, starting with a cinnamon stick, about a teaspoon of some coriander seed, some dried oregano, some dried marjoram, a few bay leaves. I did not have any whole cumin seeds, so unfortunately I had to use a little bit of powdered, but hey, it'll still be alright. And of course, Uncle Roger's favorite, a couple tablespoons of some accent or MSG, the king of flavor. And don't be like me and almost forget a handful of some black peppercorns. I'm going to let that simmer for about 45 minutes, and everything should be nice and tender. I'm going to go in with what is quickly becoming my favorite kitchen tool, my immersion blender, and blend everything up. Now, moving over to the Instapot, one of the most valued things that come out of this recipe is the fat. You need it to make the tacos for one, and it's amazing on many other things like eggs or even rice. So before I do anything else, I'm gonna add in about 1.5 cups, maybe 2 cups of some rendered brisket fat. We're already gonna get a decent amount from the oxtails, but this is just gonna bump up that fat content and give us extra for another time. Once I've got everything into the Instapot, I'm gonna pour over our sauce we just made and let it run for about 45 minutes. And you'll be greeted to something glorious. Before I disturb anything though, I'm gonna skim off some of that fat for us to use tonight. I was a little weary about using inside round since it's kind of dry, but with all the added fat from the oxtail and the rendered brisket fat, it turned out perfect. Now, as you can see by the looks of my dirty skillet, the family couldn't wait before I could film one. But we're gonna go in with some of that fat we reserved earlier and get a couple tortillas going. I wasn't able to find any Oaxaca cheese, unfortunately, so I subbed that out with a little Monterey pepper jack. We're gonna get a little bit of our meat on there and close those guys up. We'll let them toast for a minute or two, and you know what happens next, guys. Seriously, I hope you guys will give this one a try. This recipe is Mexican food at its finest. But please, we'd like to know how you guys make them down in the comments. Let us know if we did things weird or if you think we should have changed anything. We appreciate every single one of you guys. I can't believe we're almost up to 100 subs now. But until next time, guys, keep it chaotic.